Hey guys, it's been a while. So creating a Saturn picture. I've had this idea in my head for years now, and it all started when I looked at toilet paper and thought, those kind of look like Saturn's rings. Ever since then, it was just constantly there, and that's what this video is about. I've finally gone and done it. I've had this idea of using paper rolls as the rings of Saturn for a while now, but it was just that, the rings of Saturn. I hadn't really considered the planet or the background. But as I gave this idea more and more attention, the pieces began falling together. I noticed with the wood around my house that the wood grain and the knots in the wood would make a perfect surface for a gas planet like Jupiter or Saturn. And wood knots do look pretty similar to the eye of Jupiter, and wood grain doesn't look that far off from the surface of those gas giants either. So I decided to give wood a shot for the surface of the planet. Okay, but what about the starry background? Well, enter bubbles. I was originally going to flavor the background with olive oil, but when I had decided to do this, I didn't have any olive oil in a clear enough container. Instead, I opted to use maple syrup, and I think it turned out sweet. Also, olive oil is clear, so I would have had to take the pictures in front of a solid background. Would have been hard, whatever. Maple syrup, on the other hand, is pretty much black with a tint of yellow, so I didn't really have to do anything about the background. And the yellow bubbles are contrasted enough to make the stars. So, onwards to taking the pictures. All of my pictures are of raw wood, not that finished wood couldn't work, but raw wood already almost matches the color of Saturn. I took pictures of my desk and some wood crates I had lying around. I stuck with just capturing the wood detail, taking the pictures head on, not at an angle, and tried to keep the subject lighted evenly, which resulted in some pretty boring pictures by themselves. Next up, I took some pictures of the paper rolls. I ended up using paper towels as well as trying some parchment paper. We'll see how each of those turn out later, and you could probably use wrapping paper, rolled printer paper, or even something like tape. And last but not least, the syrup. We need it bubbly, so start insulting it until it begins bubbling with rage. You'll never be as good as Aunt Jemima. The bubbles inside the bottle stick to the sides, so rotate it around and then take a shot of the bubble walls or as they rise to the surface or something. As you can see, it actually looks pretty good compared with how boring the other pictures turned out. I actually like the way the syrup bubbles look. We have now captured all the required pictures. We have paper rolls, plant fiber, commonly wood fiber, we have the carved out corpses of trees, and we have the blood of trees, syrup. It's now time to go into post-production, or work after the physical work. I'm using Davinci Resolve, specifically the Fusion tab, to construct the whole scene, or image. Step 1 will be to make a fusion composition, then to go to the Fusion tab. From there, we're going to be making a very simple 3D scene. Throw in the images, and we're going to attach the paper towels to an image plane. We'll also use a transform and circle mask nodes to crop out the inner and outer parts of the ring image. We'll then connect the wood image to a sphere, and zap, we have a planet. Connect them to a Merge 3D and then connect that to another Merge 3D. This second one we'll use for our light and camera. This way we can move around the first one that has our planet and rings separate from the camera and light. We'll connect that to a Render 3D, and then we'll also add in the syrup bubbles with a few merge nodes and a background that doesn't really matter. We're just using it for the correct resolution or whatever. And then finally connect it to our output. From here, we'll start resizing and positioning the objects around and put the whole thing together. Once we're satisfied with the positions, we'll add in a spotlight and camera, position those, and add a shadow. We can mess around with color correctors for the individual images. We could get real funky with colors. We could make the planet green, pink, or purple. Those look cool. We could also do that to the background and rings. Get some nice contrasted colors going there. The sky's the limit when it comes to this, but my goal was to create Saturn, so I'll be trying to match the colors of Saturn. We can also add in a few things like sharpen and blur nodes to make it look better, and the paper towels still look bad. Let's try the parchment paper. Yeah, alright, closer. We can also try changing multiple different sections of the rings with color correctors and paint mask nodes. Well, I'm done here. The last thing to do would be to export the image. Aha, but you might be asking, this is a video editor. How are you going to export an image from that? Well, it's actually very simple. You simply make the Fusion clip a single frame, and in the Delivery tab, select the clip. Also export it as a TIFF. So, overall then, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. It was super fun taking pictures of paper rolls and a bottle of syrup. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any ideas similar to this one, I'd be open to using them for a future video, so feel free to leave them in the comments below. I've got some upcoming videos that include AI and building a computer. It's actually not as interesting as it sounds, but yeah, I'll see you guys later.